MC simply put like my foot up your anus, you shameless.
All right, you guys, it's Tuesday. Welcome to the Donovan Sadiq Show. Don't believe the hype. In the house once again with my co-host and internet nemesis, Demetra K. Demetra K has a show every Sunday, Facebook Live, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. She is on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube, Twitter. What else?
University Boulevard.
Google Plus.
Mars, outer space.
Now, last week you had 8,500 live?
It was over 9,000.
Over 9,000
viewers.
9,000 viewers. So the message is getting out there. For those that like to listen to my buffoonery when I'm on the show, that's pretty much what I want to do. But I got to be that counterbalance to all her righteousness.
Right,
I got to bring the foolishness in it.
That's what you want to call it.
I got to bring the foolishness into it. So for those guys that are listening, hey, you guys, hope you guys had a happy, Cyber Monday?
Don't get
and
me
Black Friday and all that. I call it holiday madness. And did you know, statistically, they were saying that this wasn't a record Black Friday, but it was pretty close. So obviously, Black people love to give their county checks and money that we pay for to the corporations to continue to do what they do.
My daughter and I was on the freeway on Friday, and we had to pass the mall. Mm-hmm. And the exit to get on off to get to the mall was probably 2 miles long.
Right. Is this Tyler Mall?
Tyler Mall.
Yeah, Tyler, yeah.
At least 2 miles long. I said, what the hell is in the mall that you want that bad?
Well, and the thing is, it's not like you haven't been there before.
It's crazy to me. I was like, there is no way in hell I'd be in that line waiting to get to the mall. And,
with this internet shopping and Amazon, you would think people would be smart and say, you know what? I don't want to go through that.
Right. Let Amazon kill their employees because they're
Right.
Because they're going to be in a rush to get you your stuff.
There it is. But today's topic, what I want to talk about today is the Black Queens. There's an epidemic. There's an epidemic on the internet where these women are calling themselves Black Queens, but yet can't spell.
You know what?
I mean, last I checked, royalty go to private schools, and you could be dumb and idiot like Donald Trump and be super rich and just get passed through the system. However, we do want you to read and write if you're going to do that.
Well, define a queen. It just by coincidence, because we never know what we're going to talk about until we get here.
Right.
I wore my shirt that says
she did.
queen.
Yes, she did.
Okay, so define what a queen is.
Okay.
In your mind and whatever.
In my mind, a queen is an example of the most high exalted woman in a society. Okay. She carries herself in a way that is respectable, honorable, and something that you want to emulate for yourself. That's my idea of it.
Sounds legit.
Okay. So, I mean, what is your queen since you hold the title?
I mean, you pretty much summed it up. I mean, in a nutshell, she is the example. Mm-hmm. Not just any example, but she is the supreme example. She is leading the way. She is having other women aspire to be like her. Mm-hmm. She, like you said, she does things that are of royalty, whether it's how she thinks, how she speaks,
dignity,
how she behaves,
honor,
all that. She would never be caught doing anything lackluster.
Right. So we have these women, and you sent me the link.
Did I?
Yes, you did. I think you're considering about joining
I was thinking about joining the group.
Because how'd the link come about?
Well, on Facebook they have these suggestions that say, "Hey, join this group or this, that, and the other." So the group was actually called, I don't want to give their names.
Sure.
But it had gorgeous Black Queens in the title.
So it was false advertising.
Well, I clicked on the link because I was like, well, shoot, that sounds like me.
Okay. Right.
I'm not getting how.
No. If you don't say it, nobody else will.
Right. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I clicked on the link and I wanted to see what it was about. So in the description, it was just, I mean, I'm not saying you got to be perfect in, your spelling and grammar, but it was like, Lord have mercy.
That was the first thing that I noticed when I was reading the thing. Can I give everybody a fair shot? Let me read this group. And it was like, you know what I'm saying?
Let me try to find it.
And I was so embarrassed, and I'm thinking, these people are calling themselves queens. Now, what did I tell you earlier before we went on the air? I believe a queen should conduct themselves in a certain way. It's okay if you call yourself a queen, but are you acting as such?
Okay.
And that's the dilemma that I always have with a lot of these so-called
All right, so I found it, and it says this. This is just a description, because I was curious about the group is what it is, about this group. It says, welcome to Strong Boss Queens. It's time to let all the bogus men know who claim they love you. All the BS stops here. This group was created for all strong black queens who is ready to stay. I'm reading it as it is.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Who is ready to say enough is enough. Boss queens up in here. You can't let your feelings be heard like the animal heard, not heard ears,
right,
and known. So you can let your feelings be heard and known. This disrespect and BS stops right, RITE, here. Speak your minds. Let that power out. I am done with the games of BS. And there was no periods in there, by the way. Well, okay, I'm lying. There was 2.
Okay.
And that whole thing I read.
Okay. Now, the last I checked...
She putting you on notice.
Yes. The last I checked, Facebook does not have a character limitation like Twitter does.
Right, you can write forever.
So, for her to use RITE versus... I don't... See, now that is what waters down the word queen, when you let these other bitches...
Oh!
Take the name and subvert the name. You water it down to where it means absolutely nothing.
Well, again, I don't profess to be perfect, but I think if you are leading a group, and mind you guys, this group has 12,000 plus followers, and so
disgruntled black women.
You know what? I didn't even join the group to see who was in there, but I mean, if
I know my Afro Thunder wasn't in there.
Just if I want to, guess. I mean, I don't want to say it's probably a lot of type of women in there, but that deterred me from joining. Because I was like... First
impressions are always...
That, and I just like, yeah, y'all sound like you said, like you're kind of disgruntled and angry and all that other stuff.
And reading her soliloquy there...
Is that what it was?
That's what it sounded like to me, because it wasn't steeped in facts.
They were her facts.
Right, they were her facts.
Queen facts.
Queen facts. She sounded disgruntled and stuff, but why would she be angry? Again, a woman chooses her mate. You don't have to be with a certain guy that, I mean, do you understand where I'm going with that?
I understand where you're going with that.
So if you're mad, the only person you should be mad at is yourself.
Okay.
A good example, I was talking to my mother, and like I said, a lot of my shows is based on my actual life experiences and things that I've experienced. I can't speak on what I don't know or what I haven't experienced.
Okay.
My mom made a statement that she said that, in her life, mom's retrospective. My mom's, she looks good for her age. She's getting up there.
Mm-hmm.
And, she has her 2 sons that are going to take care of her, which
a
good son is supposed to do. My mom's an alpha female, and there's nothing wrong with being an alpha female because she had to in the situation that she was in. And she made a statement that kind of made me reflect. And she said, a lot of things that she did in life, she sacrificed a lot for me, for my brother and I. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to be correct, I'm going to be correct.
Right, you can't be
right, exactly.
Me and my brother.
Right, my brother and I.
Right.
And like I said, I thank my mom for a lot of what she does. And the best way that I pay my mother back for the sacrifice that she made, being a widowed mother, not a single mother, a widowed mother, which is a big difference in that, is not being on drugs. My mom goes to sleep every night knowing that I am not in jail. I'm not on drugs. I'm not in a situation that, my mom goes to sleep at night. She can sleep. The only thing bothering her is her damn animals. You know what I mean? The damn dog and the cat.
Yeah.
But she said something that was very profound, and it made me think. She said, she's made some bad decisions, and she said one of one of her flaws that she said she has is her choices in men.
She admitted that?
Yeah, she admitted that.
Okay.
And she even included my father in that.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And people say, well, wow, you got to defend your dad. I can't defend my dad because I was so young. I didn't really know him.
I mean, it's your mom's point of view.
Exactly.
It's her story.
This is a woman who slept with this man and chose this man.
Better than her.
Right, exactly. So I'm not going to refute anything that she had to say, but it made me reflect and think. If this woman could honestly go back, and when my father died, he was a very young man. He was only 25. Mm-hmm. So going to Vietnam, it probably changed him or whatever. We don't know what could have been. But that's her retrospective, and, my stepfather, she's not a very good picker of men. And a good disclaimer to that.
Now, remember your mama coming in a couple of weeks, she's going to whoop your ass?
No. Me and mom are good, The truth shall set you free.
Okay, we going to see.
But here's the thing. My mom gave me that trait as well of not being a very good choice in mates because, my mom was raised, just like I was raised, to you accept people for who they are and how they present themselves. So it's going to take a while. It took me a while coming to America to really break that stigma. Now I can sniff you out in a minute.
Okay.
And when she said that, it was very profound to me she was very honest about her situation. Yeah, she didn't blame society. She didn't blame other people. She blamed herself. Not saying she didn't get two great kids out of the deal.
Talking about tuning your own horn, but
yeah, she got two great kids.
So what did she say her issue was in not picking the right men?
Well, she didn't go into what the issues were. She just admitted that she has a.
If you had to speculate,
the thing is, what I would speculate is my mom being the oldest of 12 and coming in the neighborhood of that era of how they come into it. I would think that she had a naivety factor.
Okay.
She knew what she wanted in a man because she raised me and my brother without my father being there of what men should be, and thus the Ike Turner disciple that you see before you right now. Okay? I picked it up on my own. My mom didn't teach me that. But
I know you lying.
Right. But you know what I mean? But she made me be an individual and a strong man and to stand up on my own, admit when I'm wrong. I'm a working man.
Indeed. Even though you retired.
Well, I retired, but I put the work in.
And you still working.
And I'm still working until this very day. For myself, though.
Okay.
Big difference. But here she is admitting that the fault is not the men that she's picked. The fault is her. So in this group of these queens, here they are disgruntled. They have nobody to blame but themselves.
Well, no, I mean, and I just from my personal experience, I've said before, I've gone on record saying that all the men now, I won't say all, like it was a whole, choo-choo train full of them. But all the men I've been with and didn't succeed in a relationship with them, I would say that not most of it, but I shouldered a lot of blame in that.
Sure.
Because like you said, it's you, the woman, that chooses the man or chooses to continue on the relationship. And in my situation, I can answer why I continue to choose men who weren't suitable for me. Because I don't like to call them bad men, except for my ex. They just weren't suitable for me because I ignored red flags. I saw the signs on the wall and this, that, and the other, and I chose to explain them away. Or it's not
just
really that bad.
Right.
Okay, I know he said he did this, but
in a couple of years,
all of that.
He'll mature.
Right, and so, but instead of saying, you know what, I see what's going on. Stop trying to suspend my belief in who he's telling telling me who he is. I see who he is.
Right.
Actions speak louder than words, and so I think that's probably true for a lot of women who end up being disgruntled. They don't analyze their role in the relationship and how they got with that man.
Right. So, ladies, let's be honest. It's just like I say on the show. People say, Donovan, you're always, so hard on the show. I have to be hard and call it what it is. When let's face it. Some of y'all, kids ain't shit.
Oh.
Let's just admit that. Some people have kids. You didn't raise them right, and then you got these kids those very same kids that will come up and then blame, oh, my mom, I had a horrific time. I was in foster care. Okay, foster care kicks you out at 18. At that point, what decisions have you made to better your situation from the time you can't keep blaming your parents for everything that goes wrong in you as a grown person? Am I wrong in saying that?
You're right. It's just... then again, too, it just depends on what degree you had a bad childhood. But I would say everybody has experienced something traumatic, most people in their childhood,
right.
That wasn't great. But like you said, you just try to figure out life on your own terms and not hold on to yesterday. My dad always says you can't undo yesterday.
Right.
And when people are always evoking the past, that means that they're either still living in the past or they're trying to figure out a way to change it. You can't do that. Have to move forward and say, all right, I had a bad childhood. My mama wasn't shit. My daddy wasn't shit. But that don't mean I don't have to be shit.
Thank you.
I have to turn out to not be shit.
Right.
So,
thank you. And that's what I want to say. And you got to be honest with yourselves. I know women that, even in my family, that will, let's say the child is 9 years old. The child brings home a bike. The mom doesn't say a word.
Well, yeah, that's just poor parenting. And I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was at the store with my younger nieces and nephews, and I was talking to my nieces, and my nephew was up. We're waiting in line at the grocery store, so he's looking at the gum and all that other stuff. And so a sister in front of me turns around and she says, "Your son." She thought it was my son. The lady in front of her asked her son to move, and he didn't move. He ignored her. And so I said, "Oh, okay." So I called him over. I said,
This lady.
Yeah, I said, "Did you ignore the lady who asked you to move?" And he was kind of playing it off. I said, "When somebody tells you to move, you move." And then I said, "In fact, you go over there to her and you apologize to her." And he did. And I told the lady, thank you,
right,
whatever the case is. I didn't say, "Bitch, mind your business."
Yeah, that's my child.
How you know he
get them pack of ramens up?
Yeah, right, you stupid. I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Right. I corrected it because I didn't want that sister to think, damn, I didn't want her to lump me in with the non-queens. Damn, she can't, look at her son. I told her it was my nephew eventually. But, she won't even correct him. Because clearly, for her to turn around and say that, it's because I believe he did it.
Right.
So,
exactly.
But no, you're right. I mean, your kid brings home a bike and damn well it wasn't his and he didn't leave the house with a bike and he coming back with one. Where'd you get this bike from, Junior?
Exactly. And, nobody's questioning that. And then we wonder why the high rate of our kids, especially our young men, walking into jail is because they are not being guided. Well, the father ain't there. Stop blaming the father. We know he's not there. The question is, you have to deal with the situation at hand. You are there. So what decisions are you making, and parameters and borders and restrictions are you putting up to these young kids to say, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to cross this line?
Well, I take exception to that to some degree, to a large degree, because it's not just because of single black mothers that men or boys are walking into prison. Sure. We know that there's now there's other things. I've even heard it from a sister online yesterday. I can't remember her name, a Muslim sister. She called it the womb to the prison pipeline. The prison pipeline. Mm-hmm. And so we know there's other factors as to why black men are going to jail. But it's not, I just want to say, for the sake of argument and time, it's not just because of the black woman.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
As the black mama being the first teacher, or the woman rather being the first teacher, what are you teaching your sons? At some point in time, you have to, if the father's not around for whatever reason, okay, yeah, you didn't pick the right dude or whatever, he's not around, that doesn't absolve you of your responsibility of being a good parent. Because like you said, your father, passed when you were very young, but that didn't mean that your mom could just be a ratchet and turn it up.
And I'm sure she would have loved to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And just let you guys just do whatever you wanted.
I mean, I look at some of my cousins and I say, wow, how much freedom they had to do, where my mom said, you will not cross this line or you're going to get your ass kicked.
My mom used to always say, kids, whether you believe it or not, they like discipline.
Yes.
They like when you tell them, you give them instructions and expectations. Children who are just willy-nilly doing whatever they want, that's a lot of responsibility for them, because for one, they don't have the wisdom or the knowledge to go about, how to behave unless you tell them.
Right.
Otherwise, they'll just pick up things from here and there, and then pretty soon they'll be a degenerate in society and cause you a lot of grief, instead of saying, like your mom did, this is what you need to do every day, this time of day, and this, that, and the other. These are my expectations for you and your brother.
Right, exactly. I just, it's just amazing to me how, people, they call themselves queens, but they don't act like it, and they don't do it. Like my definition of a queen, it is a way to portray yourself. I have a deadly fear of going to jail. Number one, I'm too cute. Number two, the disappointment
You don't want the booty man to come get you?
Yeah, no.
I want you.
No. See,
And
but
I like
look,
you.
but, you know, for those that are listening, real quick, if I go to prison, I'm going in as a double Muslim. Ask me what that means.
What does that mean?
You don't know?
You did to tell me. I mean,
You better go ask my father-in-law.
what's a double Muslim?
Okay.
Because is that going to protect you when you drop
Yes.
the soap?
Yes. it
Okay,
will.
do tell.
Here's the difference. If you know, and a lot of people don't know this. See, this goes back to the 70s. There's Muslims and there's double Muslims.
Okay.
The Muslim, you know, they want you to meet Allah and everything. You know, they hope and they invite you to meet Allah. A double Muslim can't wait to meet Allah and wants to take you with him. Okay.
We going up in the sky by hand in hand together, brother.
Right. And so that's the worst kind of Muslim to deal with when you're in prison.
Okay.
Because that's telling you he's ready to go.
Okay.
And he's going to take you with him.
Yeah, you got bombs strapped on you and shit.
I'm just taking you with me. You know, even if you're behind me, you ain't going to be back there too much longer.
The last word he going to hear is Allah Akbar.
Yes, absolutely. But I had a fear of disappointing my mom. Mm-hmm. Because I look at all the struggles that we went through as younger. I mean, I remember my mom, we lost our house. We lost the car. She had to bury this man. And we went, I mean, these are the things that I can remember. Tragic stuff. Going to the wealth. I mean, the look on my mom's face. My mom didn't come. We didn't come. You know, we were poor, but we weren't like poor.
Right.
You know, we weren't on the system back then. And you're from the South.
Did you had a Claudine soundtrack playing a lot in your house?
we might as well. We might as well. No, I mean, you know, you gotta remember my mom was what? Yeah. I know we're laughing, but no, seriously. It was 1975. It was July 12th when my father passed. We got the word that my father passed. So that means my mother was 24 years old.
She's a baby.
And I remember, and I'm a baby. I'm the baby. And holding her hand, walking to the well, and just looking at the look on my mom's face of having to go. You know, which the system was set up to help.
That's what the system is for, though.
Right. And my mom was on it for a little while. Yeah. She got a job at Disney, and the rest, they say, is history. So, but she made those decisions. But as she made those decisions, knowing she had two kids, she didn't let certain people around us. She wasn't hurt up for me. I used to think my mom
was a nun.
Well, no, I didn't know that. I was smart enough to know that. But I was like, when she said she married my stepfather, I was like, where'd you meet this guy?
Where did the Negro come from?
Yeah, you get married. You know, she carried herself like a queen.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and I could never say enough to my mom to say thank you other than standing on my own 2 feet. I will never tell my mom thank you outright.
Why?
Well, you know, you can say it. Words are words.
True.
It's the actions.
Right.
So to me, the best thing that I can do for my mom is to be successful and do those things. Like I said, when I got my education, that wasn't really for me. It was for her.
Right.
You know, just, hey, Mom, I did this. You know, all the sacrifice that you did for us, even though I was getting those D's and C's.
Hey, C's get degrees.
That's right. You know, in high school and messing up and stuff. Right. I came out of it.
Right.
This is for you. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that you said that because, like you said, who would I be to not put the things that she taught you into use?
Right.
What kind of a-hole would you be
right.
if you did everything the opposite? Because you hear men, especially in prison, and not even just men, but women too, who'll say, yeah, you know, I had a single mama and she gave me all she had and she was, you know, pray with me and speak life into me and tell me to do this and do that. But some reason I just didn't listen. And oh my God, now that I'm here, I hear those words. And if I just had a second chance to do it all over again, I would listen to my mama.
Right. And some of us don't get those second chances, you know. So I have a fear of failure. So I made sure that I was going to make something of myself so that she ain't got to worry about that. Like I said, my mom's biggest worry as a queen, like she went back to school, even though she's not going to go back in the workforce. But, you know, that's the kind of people we are.
She just wants to do that.
Yeah, but, you know, she was taught us, finish what you started, period.
And be productive.
Right.
Be doing something.
Here are the borders.
Right.
And me and my brother stayed within those borders. She said, if you ever go to jail, unless it's something, you know, valid, I ain't coming to visit.
Don't drop a dime in the phone to call
Yeah,
me.
don't put anything on your books. And, we come from a big family, but we're the family that's in California. So my mom was out here without any of her immediate family.
Sometimes that's what you got to do to make it. You got to leave the flock.
Right. And it was tragic because my dad didn't leave anything. It was, and my mom, here's a woman that basically with a high school education scraped and.
But let's also define the times too. When your mom was 24, that's what women aspired to be, was housewives.
Right. And my mom was a housewife.
Yeah, my mom got married when she was 19. My mom gave up, she gave up the full scholarship to Clark Atlanta before she met my father. But she talked about how when her and her girlfriends were getting ready to graduate high school, most of them were talking about getting me a good man, a husband, stay home and have some kids and be a housewife. But during those times, you talked about this the other day. During those times, we ain't talking about the housewives nowadays that sitting home watching Maury and all these other people on, and the kids is, half stupid and all kind of stuff, and ain't no food on the table, the houses. We ain't talking about these housewives. We're talking about the housewives that actually took home economics in high school that geared them toward being a good mother, wife, and a woman. And so your mom was in that time. So it wasn't like, well, child, shoot, let me go on and get knocked out. That was the goal. Right. And then, no shade to you men.
Good.
You men, most of y'all was about something. Even if y'all had some boo things on the side, your woman for the most part, and I'm not excusing the boo thing on the side, but your woman for the most part didn't have to worry about where the money was coming from.
The check came to her.
The check came, right. So things were working then. But nowadays, I don't suggest no woman just come out, of high school with no marketable skills because, for one, they're not teaching home ec anymore in high school. Exactly. And these half-ass mamas nowadays ain't teaching their girls, how to cook and
how to clean themselves, much less anything else. So, I don't outright thank my mom. So it's for us, it's deeds, not words.
Absolutely.
Words are nice and pretty and they make you feel good.
I can show you better than I can tell.
But when she can actually concrete see it, it makes all the difference in the world with my mom. But, so my definition of queen, mama. My mama, she's my thing. No, really. That's my, a queen. So when these other ratchets are calling themselves queen, I get offended because you're not a queen. You're not doing anything. You're not educated. You're not doing anything to better the nation.
Or it's because society has told you that because you a woman with a hole and some boobs, you're a queen. But are you going to be a queen if you've never seen a queen? It's probably going to be hard to do, especially in the age
your confusion
that we live in.
The word.
Yeah, mamas nowadays, not all mamas. Because I don't want nobody to get mad and say, well, it ain't all. I ain't speaking about all mamas. Y'all know the mamas I'm speaking about. Okay, let's just keep it at that. But mamas nowadays are not doing queen things. Hell, we saw a video yesterday of a mama. I don't know. She couldn't have been no more than. I don't think she was more than 30, probably mid-20s or so. This lady, I don't even call her a lady. This thought was twerking for her son that was probably no more than 7,
8.
And she puts titles it on the video. My son wanted me to twerk in his video, and I'm not talking about no little cute little dance. She's twerking, booty bent over, legs gapped open. The son is in front of her booty, mouthing the rap songs, and at one point it looks like he's trying to stick his finger in her butt. And I'm like,
I really hope the father saw that and is going to Child Protective Services.
But those are the mamas that are out there
and getting his son away because what is that teaching our sons? No respect for women.
Right, but then let's flip it around though. Let's say his dad is not doing that. Right. So can we totally blame the mama if her son turns out to be what
gay
she's teaching him to be?
Right.
Where's the father?
True.
Because most fathers who are involved in the son's life, and again, we don't want to get into that because it's a myth that black men is not involved in the child's life because we are
more involved than anybody.
Right.
We ain't got no jobs. Where else are we going to be?
You stupid. But if the mama is doing that kind of stuff, where is the daddy? It's hard for me to believe that she's with his father. And if she is, what kind of father is he?
Right. I have a question for you. Why is it that when a woman just recently had a baby, her and the father are not together and she's on to the new boyfriend within a short amount of time?
I didn't do that, but I know women who do that, or I know of women rather. I think it's because they're trying to fill a void. Again, and we're always going to make this the focal point, is if you don't know who you are, and you're not comfortable with yourself, and you don't love yourself, and you don't say right now, I'm enough, you're always going to be looking for something to fill the hole, proverbially and literally.
Right.
You're going to be looking for somebody to fill the hole.
Right. Right. And because a lot of you women just saying anybody.
Yeah, because I just want to be loved. Oh, I just can't be by myself. Why you can't be by yourself? Sometimes if you spend some time by yourself, you'll figure out I'm a pretty dope person.
Queen Elizabeth the First, one of the greatest monarchs in English history.
So they say.
Yeah, so they say. Well, English history.
Right.
Was by herself for a long time. I mean, she had her side dudes, but you see what I'm saying? What you do is how you do it.
But when I broke up with my ex...
I know the real story on that.
Right.
Holding out on the brother.
Hollywood story.
Yeah.
Right. I spent 3 years by myself. Mm-hmm. I just did. I mean, it's like, okay, D, you have to fix you.
And figure it out.
I know this dude was a douchebag. Listen, I'm not going to say he wasn't. This dude was a douchebag and then some. A used one. And I know that's pretty gross. But anyway. But I realized I had to fix me.
And you wanted better.
Yeah, because I'm going to keep ending up with dudes like that unless I fix me. So not only did I just say, okay, I love myself. I got my weight together. I got my mind together. I got, a degree. I mean, there's a lot of things that I
everything
did.
Came together. Mm-hmm.
And so when I was ready, and you'll know when you're ready, you'll recognize him when you're ready. Now, did I have guys trying to talk to me? Yeah, but they just wanted to screw.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're an attractive woman.
Right, but so once I started to work on myself, I was able to weed those dudes out. Now, man, you're just looking for a good time.
Right.
I'm looking for somebody who wants to be in there for the long haul, who's going to love me regardless, this, that, and the other. So so when a woman has a baby and then she's broken up with that dude and now she's with another dude a week later, it's because she doesn't know who she is.
She's trying to find herself still.
Yeah.
So,
and then the kid suffers in the long run.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's like, that ain't my daddy.
Right. And then they get these men that aren't teaching the kids anything. Like a good example, my stepfather, he didn't teach me, my brother, anything. Everything we learned from my mother. Mama, Mom, you're the queen of my heart. Song for Mama,
Right.
But long story short, if you're going to call yourself a queen, ladies, please act like it. You set parameter. A queen defines her empire.
Absolutely.
Period.
Right. And she, as we said once before, she's not entertaining the jesters and the fools and the jokers and the laymen. She ain't entertaining those people, clowns. She's entertaining people with some potential. And it's good that we're talking about this because my segment is going to be it's going to be the antidote to what for everybody, I think. Okay. But so the queen is, to your point, the queen knows who she is. Like I tell people all the time, because I talk to a lot of young people. When I say young, in their 20s or so, when you know who you are, there's certain people you wouldn't even be in the same room with. You wouldn't even entertain them. You'd be like, you know what? Not today, not ever.
Right.
You are beneath me. Because my dad always makes a good point in saying, people always say, oh, everybody's equal. Nobody's better than nobody. He said, bullshit. There are people you're better than. And when you know that, you don't hang out with lackluster people, including a man. Marcus, on the show on Sunday, he's on the show, he made a good point in saying he doesn't understand how some women just lay down with anything and just let them stick. Everything. We know what he's talking about, sticking in them. Just stick something in. You don't know the dude from a hole in the wall. You're giving something to him so precious. That's not what queens do. Right.
I mean, to go back what you're saying, like I said, people say I should just settle for this. When I've set my mind to something, I'm to some people I'm not all that, and to me, I am.
And that's all that matters.
And I want a certain thing, and I'm going to get it, even if I got to wait 30 years for it.
But why should you settle?
Right, exactly. I'm not in a position where I have to settle.
And that's why people get into trouble. And kings and queens, they don't settle. People get into trouble because, I better get on the next thing smoking, because then you just end up with that, buster, somebody who ain't.
Have you ever,
Just be patient.
have you ever noticed this? A woman that sets those parameters really hard. I want this. I want that. These like, I wouldn't say loudmouth women, but they're very strong women.
Boisterous?
Well, not boisterous, but they ain't having it. They're educated, whatever.
Oh, okay.
They're not settling. Those are the women that have men.
Right. But then on the other side of that, too, you can be that type of woman or man to where your expectations are so outrageous.
Oh, yeah. Then you run the guy out.
It's like you're single. I mean, I've known women like that to where they settled eventually and the dude is all right, but it's like, You probably checked off a lot of good dudes behind being stupid, and you setting expectations you don't even have.
And expectations. So, ladies, if you're going to title yourself a queen, please act accordingly. Now, I've been sitting here wondering what the hell it is that you are drinking there.
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. It's carrot juice.
I thought it was like pumpkin juice.
No, I ain't drinking no pumpkin juice. Now, it's carrot, orange, turmeric, ginger, and mango juice.
Okay, now what is this going to do?
It's going to, well, specifically, I have the orange juice in there because it's cold season. Okay. And everybody, why am I massaging this jar like this? I like it's a baby. My precious. Right. No, it's cold season.
Okay.
And so most people I know are now talking about, oh, I'm sick.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay.
Yes.
So, but I drink juice anyway.
Yeah, but so does that have a lot of nutrients?
Yeah, absolutely. Vitamin C, got carotene, it's got vitamin A. The ginger is good, and anti-inflammatory. Turmeric, the same thing.
Yeah, I've been drinking a lot of ginger tea.
And the mango, I'm not quite sure what the mango does. It just gives it flavor, but...
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to help.
Is that something that you'd made by home or something?
I make it at home. I have a juicer, and I make it at home.
All right, right on.
Yeah, I drink the juice probably like 4 times a week, 4 or 5 times a week.
Real quick, before we go into the second segment, I want to talk about. I just got a letter from TransUnion. For those of us in my community that don't check their credit reports, you should be checking your credit reports at least once a year. You get one free credit report a year. You should check your numbers because for those that don't know, starting next year, they are going to a new FICO score system. And notice that nobody really knows about it, but the white folks know.
Well, some of us black folks.
Some black folks. That's what I'm saying. As a whole, it's like they kept this on the ground. And the way that they scored it and the way that it is, it's going to affect if you can qualify for a home, if you can qualify for a car, if you can do all kinds of certain things. So you should be checking your TransUnion, Experian, and what's the other one? Equifax. Those are the 3 major ones. They have some of those smaller ones too. Now, I'm going to read this to you guys for verbatim. We appreciate you taking the time to contact us at TransUnion. Our goal is to maintain complete and accurate credit information. It's our commitment to you. Do you guys realize that if you have stuff on your credit report that is 7 years old, you can have that removed?
It's supposed to fall off anyway.
Well, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't. That's why you should check your thing. And that could be the difference between 5 points and 8 points. So 7 years, but if it's accurate, they'll keep it on there. So if you got that repo and it's accurate, they're not going to drop it. It's going to stay. Yeah. After reviewing your dispute, and my dispute was this: my credit card got compromised, and a payment it went over the limit or something like that. The credit card I gave my mom. But anyway, she contacts me and lets me know, and immediately I let them know what's going on. I go through the procedures. Because that affects your credit rating. So I send them this letter saying, hey, I got the report back from the credit company saying, no, we charged your stuff back. You aren't at fault. No big deal. But you got to do that for the simple fact that if you don't, the credit company is going to like you. If you ain't saying nothing to us, we ain't going to say nothing to you. It's going to send your report. It says, after reviewing your dispute request, we found the information you disputed does not currently appear on your TransUnion credit report. It's possible the information was updated before we reviewed your report, or it was reported by one of the other credit reporting companies. Now, TransUnion was the one that the credit company said that I got the alert for it. So what they're saying is basically the credit company went back and pulled it off of there. So by the time they got my letter, they had already been corrected. So it's very important that you guys, we are moving into a Bitcoin.
Is that thing still around?
Well, yeah, it's going on the wayside, but we're moving into a way where they can steal our money a lot easier using numbers. Everything's about numbers and, your wallet and, you don't even need cash anymore, but your credit is so important. And this is another reason why black folks in general were left behind, because mama used our lights, got our thing on lights.
You're not going to blame that on mama.
Well, whoever it was. Because when you're 8 years old and you got lights in your name and cable in your name,
I know people who have had that happen.
I know people that's happened. You ruin the kid's opportunity before he even gets started. It is so important. The kid wants to go to college. You can't go to college if your credit report.
Well, you can dispute that, but like, listen, Equifax, I was 2.
Yeah, but nowadays with the new laws, that's what I'm saying. You guys better understand what's going on here. With the new laws, they're not writing that off anymore. Are you willing to put mama in jail?
Hell yeah, you're going to be messing up my good credit.
But that's what you're going to have to... that's what I'm saying. That's what's happening nowadays. They are not letting you wash off the debt like before. They're like, no, you're going to stay with that bankruptcy.
I think you're going to look good in orange. Okay?
Right. Remember back before people were like, Chapter 7, bankruptcy? Oh, no, they're making you keep the debt now. They're making you keep the debt. Shit, how much debt do I got? You know, yeah, unless you lose $1 billion, they'll wipe that off. But if you owe $6,000, oh no, you
come
pay
on
that.
now, that's a different story.
But what I'm saying is they're making it to where the poor people have to pay their debt.
Okay, but this is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
My motto is always and will always be until I die.
Bet on black.
Well, that too. But don't spend more than you make.
Thank you.
And if you got high debt, just pay it off.
Pay it off.
Sometimes it might mean you're not going to the club or getting you a new lace front or getting you some Jordans. You're going to spend $200 on the lace front. Why not put that $200 on your credit card and pay it off? And so none of that will pertain to you.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm with you. And don't get me wrong. You guys, you're laughing and you're thinking that it's not important, especially you young queens out there. Let me tell you, that could be the difference between getting a man that is going somewhere. And, you know, I run into a lot of women. They're great women. But when they tell me about their credit problems, I'm done at that point. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say this. Because I hear that. How much time we got?
We got time.
Because I hear that argument a lot as far as a mate. And I agree. I agree that at least your mate, your potential mate, should be financially, if not savvy, but at least financially responsible. Mm-hmm. Because let's be honest, most people have debt.
Yes.
But, okay, to what degree is this debt? Are you paying it? Is your credit good? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I hate to hear people say, I'm writing you off because you got a lot of debt. Are you managing the debt? Are you paying off the debt? Because that don't make you a bad woman per se. Now, maybe it make you a bad stewardess of your money. But, yeah, but if that person is, you know, never has no money, they talking about, maybe, you know, I need to pay my rent and, you know, you help me out. You know, that's a continual thing. Yeah. And you see that they working or whatever, and they tricking off money, then that's probably not the person for you.
Right. Because remember, I was almost in that situation. So
yeah, I don't think you'd ever got in that situation. Come to your money is like,
I was like, wait a minute. And then when I had to sue him,
right?
Oh, I'm the bad guy. Wait a minute, I just want my money.
Right.
That's all there is to it. So, you know, your credit is very important, and they're changing the game as we speak, and a lot of people are not even aware that how that's going to affect you. When they change this new rating and stuff, for those of you that just got your home, even though you work at Taco Bell and you got a $300,000 home.
You know what?
It's the truth. This is going to change your rating on how much you pay in your in your home equity and stuff like that. You will start to
see your credit card rating or
APR and stuff like change and stuff like that.
You're like, what?
See, another thing is, ladies, queens, do not rush to get a house because you want your kids to be in a better situation. If you're not making enough to maintain the house,
we could do a whole show.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I mean,
Show.
I'm just saying, don't get a house. There's more to a house than just the mortgage. You gotta, when the shingles are starting falling off, you gotta get that replaced, or train your damn kids, your boys, to go fix that shit.
Oh, you crazy! I can't have my king up there on the roof. He might break a nail.
And that's why we are continually in the situation that we are. Number one, we're not involved, and we don't care to get involved. Right now, in the state of Mississippi, they are voting for that Senate seat.
And you know what the cold part is, brother, since you want to talk about us?
Queens. It's going to be the Queens that's going to win the day.
He said 16 to 18% of black men Republican men, I guess I should be honest,
Okay.
are voting for her.
Yep, I know. I saw that.
How, Donovan?
There's always going to be that group that is going to...
This is a woman who stood on the front lawn of somebody's lawn with some white dude talking about I would be... Basically, she'd be anywhere he is, including a public hanging. What's wrong with y'all?
Ignorance. But we're going to get into it. We're going to continue our talk about these queens in the second hour. So you guys...
we talking about your king.
Oh, kings. We're going to talk about the kings. Oh, all right. Love to hear that, because I know I'm a king. So, you guys stand by. This is the Donovan Sadiq Show. Don't believe the hype. Me and Dimitri K will be right back.
Even if you're white like talcum and a pagan, just stay it.